Hello. Got some major entertainment news updates specifically related to DC, Warner Brothers, and Marvel and Disney. Is Flash DC's best movie ever, including the Dark Knight trilogy? The Aquaman and Shazam 2 date change. How significant is it? Ben Affleck returning as Batman. What does this mean for the DCEU and this whole plan as a whole? And has Warner Brothers and the DC finally found its Kevin Feige, if that could ever be possible? And finally, some D23 updates. For updates on all those topics, make sure you keep on watching. So like I said, got some major news coming out of some just entertainment news updates relating to those two DC and Marvel properties. So this is what this video is about. No reviews, no reactions, just some entertainment news updates. So let's get right into this. So the very first one that I mentioned is there's been reports going around that the Flash movie with Ezra Miller, obviously the drama surrounding that, this report is saying that the Flash could potentially, and a lot of the execs and higher ups at Warner Brothers are actually thinking that the Flash is one of the best movies they've ever made. And they started including movies like the Dark Knight trilogy. And I was just like, all right, let's slow down. And I'm not saying that the movie can't be, but those movies are so elite. And if by chance, though, the Flash is actually as good as those movies, one, that would make it the best DCEU movie ever made of all Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, all of that stuff. That means it would clear all of those movies by a big margin. And if that is the case, like, I guess I somewhat understand why Warner Brothers just can't completely scrap the Flash, which if you watch my previous videos on the Warner Brothers updates, I'll put those in the description if you haven't heard about those updates. But I understand why they couldn't scrap this movie if this movie actually happens to be that good, right? And so not only are the higher ups saying that, but they've actually tested the Flash with test audiences, and people are loving it. They've like, this movie's just been getting a lot of positive reviews and just good word of mouth being talked about it. So that's why they really are and again, it's an expensive movie. So for them to just scrap it like they did Batgirl, it's a different story. Cause like, I think Flash probably has an extra like 150 plus million extra budget than the Batgirl movie did. So there's a big difference. And again, like I keep saying, winning cures everything. You know, I'm a big sports guy. So if that movie is that good and they think that this movie could be winning, they're going to put it out. So that's like a bit of an update on just the Flash movie itself and the fact that it is coming out, and they're actually, it's not really a date change, but based on some other date changes or other movies, it could imply some other things for the DC universe going forward. So the last thing that I actually just want to mention about this Flash stuff is Ezra Miller has actually agreed to like go to therapy and get some help. So I don't know. I don't think the Warner Brothers is going to exactly do press and have Ezra Miller promote this movie, but I am interested to see if he gets help and everything kind of gets addressed, if they're going to, especially because when I get into it, it seems like they are somewhat continuing the DCEU to a degree, but it also seems like they're going to have like the Batman universe with Matt Reeves. So I'm interested to see if Ezra Miller will be the Flash going forward post the Flash, or if something will happen in the movie, like a Flashpoint event, where it's like they'll use that to change the actor. You know what I mean? And so again, it's Warner Brothers' decision. But for right now, Ezra Miller has decided to get help. And that was one of the few steps when I discussed in my last videos that Warner Brothers had three options, which was, and this was one of them, that he gets help and he potentially could get to a point where he could fully promote the movie and kind of get back and continue to be the Flash, or at least just have him get help and have him maybe like finish this movie and then switch it down the line. So that's kind of the update on the Flash and that Ezra Miller Warner Brothers situation. Now, segueing into the date changes of Aquaman and Shazam, and where I said that this news is linked to, I think, the Flash news and even just the Ben Affleck news, which, you know what, I'll kind of mention that now. So Ben Affleck, it's kind of, obviously I mentioned in my last video that Jason Momoa posted a picture of him and Ben Affleck being like, it's good working together, showing that he was coming back as Bruce Wayne, which wasn't like a big thing. But originally, Aquaman 2 was supposed to come out before Flash. Right now, Aquaman has a date change, and the date has changed to December 2023, where it was supposed to come out March this year. Oh, sorry, March 2023. Shazam was supposed to come out the end of this year, but now it's being pushed to Aquaman's old date of March 2023. So now I'm interested because Aquaman is after Flash, Ben Affleck is coming back as Batman in Aquaman. Originally, it was the reason why Aquaman, it kind of made sense or seemed why he was leaving was originally, I think the plan was that Aquaman would come out before the Flash, but the Flash still involved Ben Affleck's Batman and Michael Keaton's, but something in that would change it and allow Ben Affleck to kind of just not be in the universe anymore, right? Because I feel like that was the original plan. But with all this talks of him coming back, that date change to me, it doesn't seem that coincidental to me. Like, it really seems like that's part of it. And it's to me, it's highlighting that, yeah, Flashpoint's going to happen. But then once Aquaman comes, you're still going to see Ben Affleck's Batman, which means that Batman exists. To me, that's what I'm getting from trying to connect the dots of all this news coming out. So to me, it seems like Ben Affleck is here to stay. We've been hearing a lot of things about Henry Cavill is coming back, and like he is going to be making like a big cameo or some kind of cameo in Black Adam, which is coming out in October, which is very soon. So, if that comes out and he's actually in that movie, it kind of somewhat confirms that the DCEU is kind of continuing, because Henry Cavill was that missing piece, and the piece where it's like, if he's not there or they're just kind of like moving on from him, it's like you might as well just kind of move on from Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot and even Ezra Miller at this point with all this drama, and even Ray Fisher, because obviously he had his whole thing, right? So it's just like, if Henry Cavill comes back, to me, that is like a 100% guarantee that the DCEU is continuing in some kind of fashion. So that's like my update on the Aquaman 2 date change, the Shazam 2 date change, and I know even affect how like them doing special effects, like a lot of heavy special effects movies because of the pandemic. There's been a lot of backlog on doing effects, and obviously effect artists are like, we've been hearing that they've been like overworked and like stuff like that, right? Like they work long hours. So it's just like movies are struggling to get their special effects done. So obviously DC movies aren't shielded from that. So they're feeling a bit of that too. But I do think the biggest thing is one, and I also forgot to mention that David Zaslav, there was actually a report that, and this is an important point. So this is an important point. So I'm sorry that I missed this, but there was a report that came out that David Zaslav actually watched Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2. And it's not that he didn't dislike them, but he thought that they could be a little bit better. So that to me is a big factor on the date change. But I also feel like Ben Affleck and them trying to kind of restore the DCEU is probably the bigger factor as to why Aquaman is now after Flash, because Aquaman was supposed to come out in March. They could have pushed it to like a summer movie, right? October when Black Adam's coming out, but they pushed it to after Flash. And I think that was specifically for a reason. So that is kind of my update on the DC side of stuff and the Warner Brothers, just the DCEU side of stuff. So the last thing that I want to get into is the report that came out that DC might have found it's Kevin Feige, which that is just like a general term because no one will be able to do what Kevin Feige did. He worked on Marvel movies as a producer and just lower level stuff, like lower level positions from like the Spider-Man movies, the X-Men movies, just Marvel properties, long before he actually got the chance to work on Iron Man and kind of foster that universe. He was already long before working on Marvel properties. So for someone to have that much experience and then be kind of shepherded into a position for them to kind of create a universe, that's honestly a once in a lifetime thing. And for them to accomplish what the MCU is doing right now is honestly going to be impossible to nearly duplicate. But for this conversation, just that person that's going to kind of oversee and kind of guide everything and have his hand in everything. there was a report that came out that it seems Warner Brothers might have found that guy. It's not official yet, but the individual that they have in mind is Dan Lin, and he's worked on movies such as like Sherlock Holmes, the Lego Batman movie, Lego Ninjago. Those are some of the animated ones, but the Sherlock Holmes is one of the big ones. There's some other movies that I can't recall right now, and obviously he has worked on some like quote unquote duds or busts, but everybody has, I guess, to a degree. But it seems like they really, really like this individual, and they'll know better than me. So if they think that they found the right individual and that he's going to be able to foster the DC properties and that universe into an era of prosperity, like I trust them, because obviously, like, you know what I mean? That's why they're making the big bucks. So hopefully that this choice of this individual works out for Warner Brothers and DC, and especially the fans, us fans of these amazing, amazing characters. So let's all hope for the best that this works out. So the last thing that I want to get into is the Fantastic Four potential casting reveal at D23. Now, if you watch my Marvel Phase 5, Phase 6 breakdown video, which I did after Comic-Con when they revealed the slate of Phase 5 and Phase 6, and they revealed that Fantastic Four is going to be coming out the beginning of Phase 6, I mentioned that I thought they would have revealed the cast at Comic-Con, but once they didn't, I was like, you know what? Okay, D23 is coming, and I do think they're going to reveal a lot of stuff at D23. Obviously, the pandemic hit, and I can't remember if they did it last year, but I feel like because everything's kind of open and back to normal, right, for what, you know what I mean, for what normal is out of the pandemic, I feel like they're going to be coming out swinging for the fences, Barry Bonds. Like, I honestly think they're going to be dropping bombs this year at D23. Like, I feel like they've already dropped a lot of big news, like 2 new Avengers movies in the same year at Comic-Con. But I honestly think for some reason they have stuff in the tuck that is going to be like jaw-dropping. Honestly, I really feel like D23 is just going to be bombs, right? Because the last D23, they dropped bombs. Like, I'm talking about Marvel and Star Wars, but I feel like Marvel, they're going to be dropping a lot of bombs because, again, that Phase 6 lineup is bare, except for Fantastic Four and the 2 Avengers movies, and there's like 8 other dates. So I feel like they're going to be dropping bombs at D23, and I feel like there is a strong possibility that, I think it's Matt Chapman. He was the director of WandaVision, all the episodes. I think he's in strong contention to direct Fantastic Four. He was actually supposed to direct Star Trek 4, and it's actually been reported recently that he dropped out of Star Trek 4, and there was a report right before that he was in strong talks for Fantastic Four. So it kind of seems, is it coincidence? I don't think so. I really think that he's dropped out of Star Trek 4 so he could do Fantastic Four, which I would probably choose that too as a Marvel person and a superhero person. So it seems like they are kind of on board with their director. So I really think that's going to be confirmed and revealed at D23. But then I also feel like they're going to bring up the cast for Fantastic Four and reveal that. And I also do think they may reveal like the villain if it's Doctor Doom. Like I feel like they may reveal the MCU's Doctor Doom at D23. I really think that's going to be one of the biggest bombs, is that not only do we have, they're going to be like, okay, we have Sue Storm and Reed Richards and Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm, but then we also have Victor. And you're going to see Victor Von Doom, whoever's playing Victor Von Doom, kind of come out and reveal themselves. And I feel like that's going to be revealed at D23, and that's going to be one of the big bombs to come out of D23. So I think that might be it for all the news updates that I got. I might do another video before D23 if there's other stuff that kind of comes out that I may be able to talk about leading up to D23. But other than that, I think I'm just going to end it here. That's all the news updates that I got. It was mainly DC and Warner Brother updates that I've been getting and reading about for the last little bit, and just a little bit of Marvel stuff. I feel like they're kind of keeping secret and keeping stuff in the tuck for D23. So yeah, that is it for this video. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you think you would be interested in content like this, entertainment news updates, but also TV show reviews of some of the biggest IPs, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, She-Hulk, Andor just coming up. I'm going to be doing a lot of reviews on here, trailer reactions with D23 coming up next week. If you think you'd be interested in trailer reactions, subscribe to the Brandon Correia Network. You will not regret it. So that is it for this video. I appreciate you for watching. Catch you next time.